Well, last week we talked about the stove itself and how it operates, and this week we're going to talk about how we put this chimney up and the floor covering that the stove sits on. All wood-burning appliances require a fireproof surface for it to sit on, and the code requires it to be fireproof, non-combustible, out the front, out the sides, and out the back. So I met code with this pad, but the reason I use this thin one is because we haven't put our flooring in yet, and we did not want a big ledge. We could have put brick here, but this is a high traffic area down here, and as you're walking through, you don't want a ledge. So I want my flooring to basically sit flush with the top of this material. This can be bought on Amazon. If you go to our Amazon store, you can find that, and it comes in different lengths and different sizes to meet code for your particular stove. So let's see how we stuck it to the floor. So we're on the back side of the boards now. We laid out on the floor exactly where the stove is going to go, and these clips come to bring these two pieces together. I'm not real impressed with these clips. They seem to be kind of flimsy, but you actually get the lip underneath the metal, and then you tap it in with a hammer, and it grips that metal and pulls the two things together. And it tears right into the fiberboard, which is fine. This is meant to basically just tear away as these clips come in. So we've got Loctite on there. We're going to flip it and put it into the squared out section and see how it looks after that. So I've got my square on the floor, and I'm trying to, I haven't pushed this down yet. I'm trying to tap so that I'm right on these lines. Danielle says we're within a millimeter. I don't know about that. I like to be within a 1/16 of an inch on all my cuts and all my measurements, so that's what I'm shooting for. So I'm preparing to install the chimney for the wood burning stove. So I have requirements from the manufacturer as far as total length to get proper draft. And then I have requirements that I'm putting on it because we don't have codes here in this county, but I want to follow codes. So I'm looking at basically the codes for this area. If I were to live about 5 miles north, I'd have to comply with those. So I'm gonna look those codes up, make sure I'm high enough above the peak of the roof, and make sure I meet the insulation requirements as I penetrate that cathedral ceiling up there. So once I calculate all that out, I got to get a parts list and purchase, and that's going to hit the pocketbook pretty good. So this stove can either come out here, or it can actually come out in the back. Now we're going to have it come directly out of the top here. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually putting the sealed block for this here, and I've measured out the center here, and I'll do that later, but just to show you, I'm putting my laser right in the dead center, and if you look up at the ceiling, you'll see the green laser dot there. That's going to be the center of my chimney, so everything up top is going to be perfectly centered with what's down here, so I have a very, very straight pipe. And I'll do the same thing when I get up on the roof. I'll level the very top. So hopefully this will be perfectly straight all the way up to the spark arrestor and the cap. This is one of the jobs I hate most, cutting holes in my roof. It's a beautiful waterproof roof, and I have to cut a hole in it yet again. So I'm putting the stovepipe and the chimney for our wood-burning cook stove. So I'm right now cutting the hole for the cathedral ceiling box, which that's where the chimney will come down through the roof, and the stovepipe will actually attach to it. Let's get going. Got it. So this is the box. Here's the hole in the bottom. The chimney goes through there, and there's a collar that holds it. And then there's an adapter that goes from chimney to pipe stove. So this will go all the way up and out the roof. And I got to secure it to the joist on either side. There you go. So I have a laser sitting on the very center point of where the stovepipe comes out of the wood burning stove. So that laser goes up here to the roof, and what I did was I took this little drill bit and I drilled a hole in the roof so that when I go up top I know where the exact center point of the chimney should be. And the second thing I did is this cutout here, because I'm on a 512 pitch roof, you can't just put a square up there and draw a square. You actually have to center that square with the bottom of the box, not the chimney, because there's a slope there. So geometry says that it's going to be offset uphill. So I took the laser and lined it up with the bottom of the hole, and I took the laser, lined it up with the top, and I also screwed holes on the top and the bottom. So when I go up top, I know that that square is going to be vertically aligned with this square down here. And that's actually a rectangle because, again, it's a 512 pitch. Okay, so here I am on the roof on a cold, blustery day, and I've got my chucks on. Nothing grips a metal roof better than the clean bottom of a Converse All-Star. And you can see those three holes. So the center hole, they're probably at a slight angle, that's why they're slightly off. But the top of the box, the bottom of the box, and the center hole there, I will go ahead and cut a square and get that ceiling cathedral box set. I have cut that hole in the roof. You can see blue sky. And I'll also put blockers between the rafters here and up here. Hard to see, but I want to be able to attach that ceiling box to those blockers because it's holding the weight of the chimney. So I want a good solid surface for that. Okay, now I got the box in the hole, but I need to make sure that it's level on the bottom and that the center of this hole is still the center of that chimney. So I got the laser on, and if I look right here, you can't see it, but it shows level on the bottom. And then if I take this tape measure up, it hits right at 4 inches and 4 inches. And this is an 8 inch hole. So basically the laser is going right through the center of that, and this box is level. So I'll go ahead and screw it in. Right now I'm just dry fitting everything. I'm on the roof and inside, but if I dry fit all these before I screw them down, I can get an exact measurement of the last chimney piece that comes down through the roof, set the band, and set the collar. So I don't want to screw anything until I get this all measured exactly. I assumed a 24-inch stovepipe section would make 24 inches, but it doesn't. It doesn't account for the overlap. So after putting 4 pieces up, I've lost 4 inches. So this is not 96 inches. It's actually 92 inches. So I'm glad I dry fit first.
Okay.
So this is the top side of the chimney coming from the cathedral ceiling box down below. The chimney comes out of there through the roof, and there's flashing here to go through the metal roof, and that flashing goes right up there to the storm collar. The storm collar's put on after that, and there's sealant around there. And then the chimney up to the bracing here that braces it to the roof. Now, typically you should have bracing for every 5-foot section of chimney, but this is a cathedral ceiling, which means it only has 1 point of contact coming out of the house as opposed to 2 if you went through a standard ceiling and attic system. So because of that, they recommend that if you're more than 3 feet on a cathedral ceiling, you should use the bracing. And I'm about 4.5 feet, so I went ahead and used it. And then there's the top of the chimney where all the smoke comes out. Well, they say the chimney is the engine that drives the machine. You need to do a lot of research and make sure you do this correctly, because I think what we've put together here is working wonderfully. It's been burning for several weeks and it lights up super fast and works great. So I think we did a really good job. Thanks for subscribing. Leave your comments. We all learn from them. And if you haven't subscribed, join us on our journey.